Welcome back to the OMB Law Board. I'm Simon Bennett, and today I've got a special guest for you. This guy is an all-round legend, AFL superstar, two-time Premiership player, and a fantastic bloke, great personality. Brandon Ellis, welcome to the OMB Law Board.
Thanks for having me. It's a privilege, and looking forward to having a chat with you.
I guess you never thought you would have been involved in a law podcast, or at least not for this reason.
Probably not the first reason why I think I'd be coming to a law firm, but what you're doing is great, and I'm looking forward to listening back on this. And then you had a very interesting character in this morning in Tony Cochran, and I love him, and I'm really looking forward to that listen as well.
Yeah, so we're swapping the courtroom, if you like, for the football field today. And, Brandon's kicked a lot of goals and won a lot of games. And, I think playing in front of 100,000 people at the MCG, I remember categorically I knew we were getting you up to Gold Coast, but I think it was a preliminary final down at the MCG, 100,000. I reckon you were the best player on the field on the day. At the Tigers there, and you were on the wing and you had an absolute blinder. What's it like playing in front of a crowd like that?
It's hard to put into words. It's just that you play in front of like 80, 90,000, your big games against like your Hawthorns, your Collingwoods, your Carltons during the year. But to do it in a final, it's just a different feeling. It's very hard to explain. But that prelim against Geelong was probably one of the best games that I've played in my career. I needed to, because 2 weeks before that in the qualifying final against the Lions, I had a very bad game. Was lucky that we ended up winning by 10 goals. So Dimmer, I think, was being very nice to me and gave me another chance. So I sort of needed to perform for him, and I'm glad I could do it on probably the second biggest stage that I've ever played on. Obviously the grand final is the biggest I've ever played on, and it's an unbelievable feeling. I still pinch myself now, knowing that I've won 2 flags. I don't know if it's ever going to sink in, but very happy with how my career panned out.
Fantastic career, and I do remember at that time knowing that we were going to get you at Gold Coast, thinking how lucky are we to get this guy. But you were so much more than that. But we'll get back to that. Let's go back to the beginning. Yep. Grew up in North Carlton, in Melbourne, and life wasn't always easy for you as a kid growing up. Yep. Tell us a little bit about that and how that shaped you into the man you've become.
Yeah, so I grew up in Housing Commission my whole life, in North Carlton on Solly Avenue. So I grew up with my brother and my sister. Sister's a bit younger, brother's 5 years younger. So when my brother came along, I had to start sharing a room with him because my sister was the only girl. So she got her own room, spewing. We lived in a tri-bunk, so I'd have the bottom bed, which was double. He'd be on the single up the top.
Yeah.
So never had a backyard, but I'd always loved going outside to play. I made some great mates that lived in the flats with me also, and we couldn't wait to the mornings come so we could go out together and play every day. My primary school was across the road, so I was very lucky there, and then I had my high school, Princess Hill, which is probably 400 metres up the road. So I had everything sort of in the one area. But, as you said, it wasn't smooth sailing. As a kid, like all my mates grew up in houses, had nice cars, had their own room, had a backyard, which, I wish that was probably the biggest thing that killed me, is not having a backyard. I just wanted like my own space, go out there and just play.
Yep.
But,
and a bit of stigma attached to it at the time, I guess, as a kid, as kids do, that you're coming home to the Housing Commission and they might be going home to their houses.
Yeah, and as a kid, all you want to do is make as many friends as you can, and all you want to do is just be liked and fit in. But then when other kids cotton on, you live in Housing Commission, they think that you're poor, they think that you're dirty, they think that you stink, and then sometimes they might start bullying you, which I did get bullied as a kid. But I was just lucky that I had such great people around me, helped me get through those times. But at the time, and probably a couple of years after getting drafted, I was probably held a lot of guilt, held a lot of shame, growing up in commission housing, but having time to reflect and getting a bit older and working with certain people to figure out why I am the way I am. Like, I wouldn't change it for the world. It's definitely shaped me into the person I am today. It's made me never take things for granted. It's made me, to work my ass off, and just, if I put my mind to something, I'm going to make it happen, because as a kid, I didn't have a choice but to make things happen and to get myself up off the canvas. And it's definitely helped me shape me into the person I am today. And a lot of that comes back to my mum and dad as well. They come from nothing. They had nothing, but they still could give me everything that they could to help me be the person I am and to help me get drafted.
Yeah, and they shaped you into the man that you are today, and those hard experiences. I think one of your favourite mantras was given to you by your father.
Yeah, the harder you work, the luckier you get, and that has just stuck with me ever since I was a little kid. And Sarah, my wife, I think might have been last year, she said, "What's your favourite quote?" And I told her that, and then so she's made it up for me, put on like a painting, and every time I walk out my room every morning, like, I get to look at it. So it just reminds me. So it's just a good little reminder. When you're waking up each day, just reading that quote, and it sort of just reminds me of my old man when we were younger as well.
Yeah, I love it. And one of the ones, the one that I love that is so similar to yours, and is why I relate to this hardship story, setting you up, is, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Yeah, I love it, because it's just talking about, if you're prepared to work really hard, do whatever it takes, you will succeed.
Yeah. Well, you definitely will. And as you said, like, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And I'm such a big believer in that. And then if it doesn't work out, well, at least you can go to bed at night, put your head down on the pillow saying, I gave it my all, it just wasn't good enough, or it just didn't work out, and, no regrets.
And against all odds, I mean, it's so difficult to get drafted, but against all the odds, you get drafted to the Tigers. Will you pick 17?
15.
15, sorry. 15. Pick 15. I mean, you're a super talented individual as well. You're blessed with, wonderful skills and aerobic capacity and running and all those things, but the hard work. And so you get drafted. Tell me about I see the young kids getting drafted, and your life changes like that.
Oh, it does. I didn't know I was going to go at pick 15. GWS had the first, I think, 13 picks out of 15, because that was the year of the Giants coming into the AFL. And then I think Brisbane had 14, Richmond had 15, and Fremantle had 16. So Fremantle had come over to my house 2 nights before the draft and told mum and dad, we're going to take your son at pick 16, get ready for him to move across to the other side of Australia. And mum started crying. She goes, no, please don't take my boy. Like, let him stay here. I was like, mum, just relax. Like, this is my dream. Like, I don't care where I go. And then, so I honestly thought I was going to Freo at 16. And then the draft had started, and probably 5 minutes before pick 15, my manager texted me a tiger emoji. So he knew that they were going to take me. He just wanted it to be an even bigger surprise.
Yep.
And then my name get called out, and just honestly from that moment, like, my life changed forever. I think that the easy part, it's not easy, but I think the easy part is getting drafted. I think staying on a list and playing consistent AFL footy, that's the hard part. But yeah, honestly, I feel like it was yesterday that I got drafted, and here we are 13 years later, 2 clubs.
Yeah. What a career. 176 games for the Tigers.
Yeah, and then I stumbled over the line to get to 250.
Yeah.
Got to 251, but I was sub that game, so I don't really count it as a game. But it's...
I was there at that game.
Oh, probably
In
one of
Perth?
Perth.
Yeah, Perth.
So...
You hurt your calf. Yeah.
Came on end of the third quarter, started the last, I felt my calf go, and I'm just like, oh, you're kidding me. And from then I knew that was going to be my last game, my last quarter. Yeah. So I just said, stuff it, I'm just going to play out the rest of the quarter. Gritted my teeth, played out the game. Unfortunately, lost, but yeah, probably made my calf a lot worse than what it could have been. But I sort of knew in the back of my mind that was just going to be the last one. So a bit bittersweet, but just so grateful for the career that I had, and just so grateful for everyone that I met along the way, and especially Dimmer taking a risk on me as an 18-year-old. Yeah, it changed my life.
So let's talk about what you said before. Getting drafted wasn't the hardest bit, because that just gives you the opportunity. But then, maintaining that career, fronting up year after year, week after week, etc. I actually want to talk about the pressure
Yeah.
that then comes with that. I mean, particularly being at a big club in Melbourne, the pressure on you internally that you're putting on yourself, the pressures that others are putting on you externally, social media,
Social media.
one of the things we see now is that, with the fantasy football and the gambling and all this, people are just trolling and, putting so much pressure on players. How did you deal with that?
I guess it's a lot bigger now than what it was when I was drafted 13 years ago. I think Instagram had just started coming in. Facebook was pretty big. Twitter was pretty big. So I think for probably the first 5 years, I got away with a lot of the trolling and whatnot. Like, we weren't as easily accessible as we are now. But I guess it just comes down to sort of just knowing who you are as a person and try not let football define you. And these trolls, that you just got to know that they're going to be there. You just got to accept they're going to be there, but just don't read into all the crap that they're going to write. All you got to do is listen to your coaches, the people that matter, and the people that are helping you get out there week in, week out. So for me, I didn't find it too hard to put all that aside and brush it. I guess because if I ever was struggling, I would reach out for help straight away. I wouldn't let it downward spiral into something a lot bigger than what it needed to be. So I just think, don't be scared to ask for help, and just make sure you have a very good team around you, and make sure the only person that you're listening to are your coaches and the people that matter inside the football club, and that is it.
There was a period when, after you'd won your first premiership, where you did struggle a bit.
Yeah.
And you got through it?
Yeah, I did. Well, it's because I reached out to Trent Cotchin, who was captain at the time. I just said, mate, I'm not in a good place here. You don't need to worry too much about me, but I just need some help. I need some guidance. I just need a big cuddle. Can you come and just get me out of the place that I'm at? And so I just think, I've never been afraid to ask for help, because I think it's very important. You can't battle your own demons by yourself. You need other people out there to help you to get through those tough times. And Trent helped me out a lot. Got me through those pretty dark times that I found myself in start of 2018, middle of 2018. And it just helped me catapult into, the person that I am today as well. So, very thankful.
Yeah. Let's talk about your move to the Gold Coast.
Been awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, fantastic. So, I recall being in one of our footy meetings and list meetings when we were talking about bringing Brandon up. And one of the things that we were told at that point was, this guy is infectious. He is absolutely infectious. You'll meet him for the first time and you'll feel like you've known him for 2 years.
That's good to know.
And that's one of the things that you absolutely brought up to the Gold Coast Suns Football Club.
Yeah.
Tell us about the move. Tell us about the stress of getting the deal done, getting contracts signed, all that sort of stuff when you do change clubs.
Yeah. So probably started halfway through 2019. We just come back from the bye, and I had a meeting with Blair Hartley, who was the list manager at Richmond, and he just said, mate, unfortunately we're not going to be able to keep you. And I was like, what do you mean? I had no intentions of ever leaving Richmond. I loved it there so much, wanted to be a one club player. He just goes, mate, just salary cap, not going to be able to keep you. If you stay, you're going to have to probably take half of what you're on. And I was just like, I said, can you just give me a little bit more and I'll still stay? But anyway, then fast forward, had a chat with the manager, and then he goes, you just need to start meeting clubs now. And the Richmond was so good. They said, look, we know you're going to have to go meet other clubs. We want you to sort yourself out now. We didn't want to tell you weeks ago, so you had to scramble. We want you to look after yourself. So they were great in that sense. And then, I met Dewey twice. He came down to Melbourne and got along with him so well. And Craig Cameron I already knew because he was at Richmond in my first year. So I already had that connection there. Met a few other clubs. We're still tossing up what I wanted to do. And then it came to, we played Brisbane in the qualifying final 2019 when, as I mentioned before. And we were on the plane. I was sitting next to Tom Lynch and we landed and it was 25 degrees in September. And I was just like, is the weather like this all the time? And Lynch is like, yeah. And then I messaged my wife now, but Sarah, she was my girlfriend at the time. I said, let's do it.
Yeah.
And here we are. Gold Coast had offered a 5-year deal. a few months before that. So there was a deal already there. They hadn't taken it or not. So all I needed to do was just say yes, and then it was just going to be all guns blazing from there. So yeah, I think the hardest part as well was to convince Sarah to leave her family and all her friends to come up here to help with my dream and pursue my dream.
Yep.
But she's done that. Yeah, she was bloody awesome. And yeah, we were like, after 5 years, we'll do our thing, go back home. But it's been five and a half years now, and we absolutely love it here. And as hard as it was at the time to leave, it's been, I think, the best thing that we've ever done. It was the first time we ever moved in together, which is when we moved up here, put a ring on it, got married, heaps of overseas trips. So, yeah, it's helped us grow as a couple, and, yeah, forever grateful that the Suns gave me the opportunity to come up here, and, I forever owe them.
Yeah, and I think you did wonderful things for the Suns as well, apart from that wonderful personality that we talked about, premiership player, absolutely professional in getting your body right every week on the park, every game, doesn't miss a game, and all of those wonderful things. So what a great move that was for both. Having played at a big Melbourne club and then a regional club like the Gold Coast in a developing market, we're copping a fair bit of grief at times from about the academy. And how do you see the competitive balance, having worked for both organisations?
It's the Melbourne clubs have the most competitive advantage ever. Like, coming from Richmond, I remember I lived with Nathan Broad for like the last 3 years, and we'd complain that we'd travel 5 times a year. And then coming up here, minimum travel every second week. So that's 12 times a year. The travel, not being in your own bed, not being in routine, not being around your friends, your family, like all the Melbourne clubs get to do. Like, it's a huge disadvantage. And I think what the Suns have done up here with the academy is fantastic. So that's, I think, our advantage is to have that academy and to have all these great kids coming through. Like, we deserve that privilege. Whereas all these Melbourne clubs...
It's one small thing, right? Yeah. It's the only advantage. But, when you talk about travel, it's not one day of travel. No. It can be 3 days, 2 nights, every second weekend.
Exactly right. And, like, just say the Darwin game, for instance, like, the boys are away for 7 days. Some of them are dads to 3 kids. Like, I just don't think people think about... the stress that comes with having to travel and to be away from family and friends. Yes, it's a great job, probably the best job in the world. Yes, they get paid a lot of money, but there's more things to life, than money and playing a game of football. Like, family is probably number one and the most important thing. I remember at Richmond, after the bye in 2019, we played Gold Coast up here, and then our next 11 games were at home, either MCG or Etihad Stadium. We didn't travel for 11 weeks. We won 11 in a row. Then we had to travel for the qualifying final, beat Brisbane. Then we played our home final against Geelong at the MCG, which was their home final, but it was ours.
At your home ground.
And then we played the MCG again in the granny. So at the time, Richmond were copping, stick for that because all they've done is play at home. But, like, it is a massive
It's a massive advantage playing an away game at your home ground.
100% it is. Yeah. Like, imagine if we could play 11 home games up here as an away team. It'd be a completely different story, but... I just think we just got to block the outside noise. Hopefully the AFL don't come in and do too much about the academy, because I think we deserve it. They're all homegrown kids up here, and
if they do, they've got to look at it competitive balance across every aspect, not just one.
Yeah.
Not just the one that suits the southern clubs, but look at all of the other factors and throw them in a pot and weigh it up. I think they'll find that we're probably substantially disadvantaged. Yeah. But let's talk about some of the legal stuff. I'm not super legal, but, involved in a career of a sporting nature at a high end. You've got contracts, you've got sponsorship deals, all of that stuff. Who takes care of all that for you? How do you get all that done?
So my manager, Marty Pask, who was with me from when I was 17 years old to when I retired, he actually retired from his job as well at end of last year too. So he takes care of all that. I think he liaises with the club.
But you understood the importance of the contract and specific clauses that might go in and...
to be honest, when you're signing a contract, you got to sign like 80 pages. You've got to initial every page. So you just like, whatever, just what am I getting paid? What's the monthly payments? I don't care about everything else. But there is a lot of important things in there. Like, for instance, we're not allowed to do anything that classifies a dangerous sport. So not allowed to ride motorbikes. Not allowed to snowboard, not allowed to wakeboard, water ski, Because if we do any of those things at our own risk and we get injured, the club are allowed to rip up our contract, or they're not allowed to pay us.
So you don't get paid.
Which
Yep.
I don't think a lot of people understand or know the nitty gritty things. Or as I said, all they want to do is sign off. What's my monthly wage going to be? Okay, how can I budget and whatnot to what it is?
Yep.
But contracts are very important because for the club, so they look after themselves, but then for obviously the player as well.
Yeah, and making sure that, from our point of view, contract terms of any contract are really important and understanding them. Same with sponsors. If you're signing a sponsorship deal, knowing what your obligations are, knowing what rights you're giving away to your image, and, where you can be used, what your appearance requirements will be and things like that is all part of being an elite sportsman these days.
Definitely. And I think contracts just cut out the grey area. It's just black and white. Okay, it's a yes or a no. As soon as there's grey area involved, that's when it gets, tricky and whatnot. But I think contracts are great because, as I said, it's black or white. So it's either yes or no. You can do this, you can't do that. Yeah, exactly right.
So transition, life after footy. How's that going?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Fair bit of travel. Just recently got back from South Africa.
Amazing.
Went over there.
Tell us about that. That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Beautiful charity.
Yeah, so Carrie's Beans for brain cancer. That's Carrie Bookmore. Runs a foundation for brain cancer because at the moment there's no actual cure or anything for this, vicious disease. So just the more funds that they can raise, the more research can go into it, and hopefully we can find a cure. So I went over there and I didn't raise money, but the people that I went with, they've ended up raising $1.6 million.
Oh, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Cheers. So we went over there and we ran a marathon through the safari. So it was pretty cool. Got to see some animals. They had actually drones flying around the park.
Was that to make sure there was no wildlife chasing you?
Yeah, and to just sort of keep an eye on where the lions and cheetahs were, just in case they started coming towards the track, then they would have had to stop the race. We had to get in the cars. Yeah, so that was a fantastic experience. So grateful and honoured that I was able to go over there and, just do my small part. Just got back the other night and, thriving being back on the Gold Coast. But off to Europe soon for a couple of months with Sarah just to actually get a Europe submarine because I've never been able to do it because of football.
Yep.
So really looking forward to that. And then, when I get back, I'll work out what I'm going to do, but I always said when I finish, when I have just a bit of a gap year, just do me, decompress, no pressure, just live my life a little bit because I've lived it by the clock.
Yep.
Since I was 18 years old.
Absolutely.
I've had to be here at a certain time, there at a certain time, do this, do that. But it's just, it's been awesome just doing my own training and, being able to give up some time and do things like this, which I wouldn't, really be able to do if I was playing footy still.
Absolutely. Well, Brandon, thanks for your time today. I'm going to hit you with a couple of rapid fire questions to finish up and see how you go. Okay, I'm going to put you under the pressure here. So, your best footy memory or moment?
Playing my first game against Carlton, I remember going out there and it was like 85,000 people. And I was like, what is going on? I had to pinch myself to see if it was a dream or not. But playing my first game, hands down.
That's pretty cool.
Other than the grand finals, you can't beat them. But first game.
That's pretty cool. Best teammate?
On field or off field? No, I'm kidding. On field. I think the greatest player that I've ever played with is Dustin Martin. Just what he was able to do. How he was able to change games, it was incredible. Same with Alex Rance and Trent Cotchin. Yeah. They're the three.
Toughest opponent?
Probably Sam Gibson. I remember he was at North, I was at Richmond. I think it might have been 2014 elimination final. He just sat on me like a glove and embarrassed me. And then, he sat on me a few other times. And, so he's probably been my toughest opponent.
If not football?
Lawyer. No, I'm kidding. If not football, either wanted to be a firefighter or go into the army.
Nice. Golf handicap?
Ooh, 8.2.
Nice. Sarah?
Incredible.
Amazing. She's unbelievable. Love Sarah.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Dimmer?
Changed my life.
Brandon Ellis, finished or just getting started?
Just getting started.
Absolutely. Brandon Ellis, thanks for coming in today. I'm sure our viewers and listeners have enjoyed listening to you as much as I have. We really appreciate it.
Nah, thanks for having me. What you do is awesome, so keep it up.
Thanks for tuning in to the OMB Law Board, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.